You have issues doing this, so I'll walk everybody through what we've been doing. Took out the little ramp here that went along here, and you can see the cold air intake, so eventually we'll get down under there and we'll pull everything up. That's kind of neat. Excited to get the floor up. You can see there's plywood on here, and then there's some laminate layer. And so we'll pull all that up with a crowbar, make sure there's no screws or anything holding it in, but the wood itself is pretty old, so I'm not too worried about it. And we got the metal off the sides. That was a pain in the butt because a lot of the screws. Oh, and you can see the Peacock, by the way. You got a lot of Peacocks out here. It's cleaning itself. But we got a lot of screws wouldn't come out of this metal. This was on the side to hold the chairs in, so that you had 2 bolts per chair in here, and then yeah, it held those in, and obviously, you know, it was up along the edge, so it covered it covered a lot of rivets. So you have to obviously cut all those rivets off. You can kind of see the cutting attempt at the rivets. Those ones I drilled out. You can see where the holes, I talked about those earlier. And then I finally got to the point where I was tired of it, and we started cutting them all out. And you can see where I'm cutting these big screws. I've just been sinking the cutoff wheel pretty deep into the screw multiple times at angles, and then I stick the crowbar behind here and pry it off. Just don't stand right behind it when you pry it off. You can see actually all the cuts. You kind of see it. There's all the little cuts in here. So I actually really get in there pretty well. It comes off. So we'll be taking those out later. Those were a bear. And then still try to get this out at some point. And it did rain, so we were trying to look at all the rivets and stuff, because there were a few areas I had pointed out before where there's some rust in here, and I wasn't sure, you know, what was causing the rust. You can see there's some damage, and I mean, obviously there's moisture or something getting in there, but it is an old bus as well, so who knows. But oh, there's some water. See, just found that. That's why this is useful. So getting a lot of moisture through there, so that means you can see the drips of water. A lot of moisture. So I'm gonna investigate that a little further. You can see all the water coming down. That's why this is all rusted right here. It's full of water. So maybe drill a hole in there, let some of that water out, and figure out how it's getting in there, because we don't want that once we start doing our insulation. So we'll keep going at these rivets with the angle grinder and pulling those off. What I've been doing is I get the rivets undone, and then I stick the crowbar back here and pry it off. And yeah, it's been pretty effective. Just I learned pretty quick, you know, I stuck the crowbar back here and popped it off, and it hit me in the leg, and I started bleeding. So I learned not to stand right behind where I'm popping the rivet off. And we might have to take off the actual sill of the window, because you can kind of see how this goes up underneath it, and we need to take those off. So it's looking bigger and bigger every time we do something. It's really nice. Back here we still have some work to do. Still got to undo the plumbing. Wall is off. Whole bathroom's exposed. This window's open. It's nice.
Explain the fiberglass.
So that's nice.
And it's insulation?
Oh, and so the insulation all came down, but you can see there's a lot of gunk. So they put the adhesive on pretty thick. Here you can see that. So we'll probably scrape that off, but you can see how the ceiling is white. That's all adhesive. And there's certain areas like this where we might try to scrape some of that off, but some of the stuff that's really smooth on there might not be that big of a deal, so we'll probably leave it there, maybe look into getting a solvent and doing it, or continue to scrape it, but it is pretty tough to get off, as we found, and it won't really change much, so yeah, we'll see about that. But that's the update so far. We also cleared everything out. We took everything, all the metal in here, we took to the dump. They didn't screw us as hard this time, which was nice. So we got most of that, and then we put like the walls from over here in the door underneath the bus. So we have a lot of stuff under there. We threw out all the old insulation. We got to start looking at some of these light fixtures, and you can see all the tape that they put around it to try to seal it and keep it in and everything. So they've got all the tape. We'll take that off, and we'll probably have to get new grommets. It looks like they actually use metal. That's probably why they have leaking. We'll get a grommets, rubber grommets for it, and we'll prevent any leaking on the sides there. So it's the progress, and we're getting there. The bus looks pretty clean though, and it's nice in here, nice and big. You can start to see it take shape. And hopefully the next video, the floor will be out, and or the panels will be off the walls, and then we'll have a pretty naked bus, and we'll be that much closer to insulating and starting to build up again. That would be really nice. We'll see how it goes. So till next time. Oh, and apparently we have more peacocks back. You can see all the peacocks out here. Vicious animals. Look at them. So vicious. They're monsters. They gallop around here like velociraptors. They're gnarly. And of course that big beautiful one right there is the male. And then the two ugly ones are the females. It's weird how birds are like that. I don't know, I guess the males put on their makeup in the morning, so those are awesome. And they go walking along the fence. A lot of peacocks around here. They're funny. Alright, until next time.